All right, so apparently my brain has decided to run a full government-funded documentary series called Every Embarrassing Thing You've Ever Done, Remastered Edition. It didn't ask for permission. It didn't ask for funding. It just broadcasts on loop every time I'm trying to live my life in peace. So let's suffer together. Let's begin with one of the most classic social flops I think everyone's experienced at one time or another. It's always with the waiter saying, "Enjoy your meal." And then my brain, which I mind you could have chosen any polite sentence to utter, says, "You too. My dude, me to me. They are not eating with you. They are not clocking out to share your mozzarella sticks." But my brain heard the words, "Be normal," and responded with, "Here's the wrong sentence at the loudest volume possible." And then hours later, the memory comes back to haunt you. I'll be in the grocery store buying deodorant, toothpaste, minding my own business, and then my brain's like, "Hey, remember when you said you too like a broken NPC? Why? Why are you like this?" It hits like emotional whiplash, instant secondhand embarrassment for my own soul, possibly even third-hand embarrassment, which I don't even know if it's possible, but here we are. I guess if you want to keep talking about awkward things, let's just talk about like calling your teacher mom. And I feel like, I don't know if it's a canonical event or something in everyone's childhood, especially if you went to a public school, but that's an event that should honestly qualify as emotional trauma. You slip up and say mom, and the entire class suddenly becomes an audience. Everyone just goes silent. You can hear the ceiling lights humming, and your teacher looks at you like you just confessed to a crime. Luckily, even though this did happen to me, my second grade teacher was literally like a second mom, so she didn't really think it was weird, but I still kind of looked at the floor and I'm like, yeah, this is where I live now, and this is me, this is my life, and yeah, I've got like 70 more years of this if I'm lucky. But yeah, that's not much compared to the grocery aisle shuffle, and that's like a whole other boss level of awkward where you say excuse me to the person by you and you're just trying to move past and get through your day and be a polite, normal functioning human. You move right, they move right, you move left, they move left, and suddenly it's like two polite Roombas glitching out in front of the fruit snacks. And like, you both kind of do that awkward giggle shuffle thing, and that means absolutely nothing except for kind of a nonverbal key code for "I'm socially exhausted and just want to go home." And listen, at least that person acknowledges you, which is way more than I can say for those who don't. And it's like walking to someone or just in passing them, and it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And the person just keeps walking. No earbuds, no phones, no distractions, just a full "I chose not to perceive you today," which it's totally excusable if you can tell the person's distracted, but it just kind of makes you feel like someone hollowed your insides out with a pumpkin carving spoon. Like, it's just not cool, man. And sometimes it's even worse when they just stop and they stare at you. Like you're some kind of biblically accurate angel with 16 wings and a halo that screams in Latin and 20 eyeballs, etc., etc. And I always kind of just want to be like, since you're staring at me, why don't you just take a picture? It'll last longer, and then you can stare at me when you get home, too, because that's kind of creepy, my dude, but whatever. But hey, nothing compares to the humiliation of the wrong wave. It's just like, you're staring in a crowd, in a store, or whatever, and looking around, and you see somebody wave at you, and it's like, wait a minute, is that somebody who recognized me? And then it's just like, so they're waving, you wave back, you smile, you feel some sort of connection, you feel human, and then you realize they were waving at the person behind you, and you were just standing there, lowering your hand like, "Cool, awesome, goodbye forever, I'm gonna go dig my grave now." But sometimes it actually gets worse. Sometimes you say goodbye to someone, maybe somebody you know, maybe a stranger. I don't know. I would feel like it would be more awkward if it was just a stranger, but you just say goodbye to someone after a conversation and you walk away. And then you both immediately walk in the same exact direction. Now, there's no real correct way to handle this. You've already said the goodbye. The social contract, so to speak, is complete. Why are we still here? Why is your car next to mine? We don't even live in the same zip code. And then there's the door incident. A full door, not a full door. I can't English. As you may know, that's going to be a catchphrase from now on. I'm leaving it in the video because I don't feel like editing it. But a door that says "pull" in giant letters. Yes, I'm not dyslexic, only on every other Tuesday. But the door says "pull," all caps. The universe cannot make this any clearer. And my brain is like, push, push anyway. I push. It doesn't move. I push harder as if that'll help. Someone behind me is watching. I can feel their judgment in the air. I finally pull it open and walk away pretending nothing happened, while when my brain writes it down and transcribes that, filing it away like, yep, this one is going into the vault for future torture. So, yeah, these are the moments that live rent free in my head. My brain is basically this sort of tiny corporate office with papers everywhere, employees panicking, alarms going off, and someone yelling code red while it's just like, I don't know. It always happens too when I'm trying to go to bed or going about my day, and I'm sure it's the same for the rest of y'all. But if any of you relate to any of it, congratulations, you belong here. Welcome to the Nobo Zone. We're being awkward is basically a personality trait, and I just kind of rant about whatever. But I still have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, so please subscribe before my brain replays this moment later and embarrasses me again for all of eternity.